Today on Pro Church Daily, we're talking about how to build a $1 million product with zero funding.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Pro Church Daily, the show where in 10 minutes or less you'll get your daily dose of tips and tactics to help your church share the message of Jesus while we navigate the biggest communication shift we've seen in the last 500 years.
Nice.
I'm your host, Alex Mills. I'm joined as always by the hype man, it's Brady Shearer. And today we're talking about how you can build a $1 million product with zero funding.
So this is going to be a different type of episode for Pro Church Daily, but it's in response to a number of different emails and questions that we got over the course of Nucleus launch week that, of course, just ended yesterday.
Right.
So one of the emails I got was from a member of Pro Church Nation, and they were saying, why do you do marketing the way that you do? Why don't you do it like Squarespace does it? Because they're a website builder, and so is Nucleus. I got another email from a fellow church business person that runs a business in the church space, in the church tech space, and they were like, you said you built $1 million product. Is that really true? And if so, do you have actual venture capital funding?
Yeah.
And I think this is a great question to answer because it has particular insights into our business, but also far-reaching implications for, I think, the future of church in the next decade or two. And to preface this, Nucleus, our church website builder, was a product that we built over the course of 18 months, and we spent more than $1 million building it. It's not uncommon for software to cost that much. It's not an outrageous cost. And the question, of course, is how did you afford to build that? And so I want to pull back the curtain a little bit.
I mean, primarily first, you live in this office.
Right.
This is your permanent residence
and
now.
I've received a number of inheritances.
Right.
No, that's not true at all. My mom was a librarian. My dad was a firefighter.
And you live in a nice home that you own, so it's fine.
Middle class. So
Yeah.
Okay. So the way it normally works in software is when you want to build a huge new product, you go out and you try to get investor funding. So you go to someone and say, look, I'm trying to build a new church website builder. It's going to be unlike anything else, new features, never before existed.
Right.
And that investor decides either, yes, I want to give you money to build this, or no, I do not. So for context, Squarespace has raised hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars to allow them to build an amazing ecosystem,
Right.
an amazing church website builder. What normally happens for most cases is that the money invested by that venture capitalist is not returned. Almost all startups end up failing and losing money. But it's worth it for the venture capitalist for the small, select number, very small, that do amazing. We call these unicorns in the startup world. Dropbox, Intercom, just to name a few, that do outrageously well.
HQ.
Yeah. We'll see. And the money that is returned in that investment covers all the losses of the other ones.
Right.
So that's how venture capital works. And there's a huge influx of venture capital right now. And a lot of people are predicting that it just can't stay like this. And eventually there's going to be a crash. And we're a different type of business at Pro Church Tools. We have never taken a dollar or a cent from any other person. We're what's called a bootstrapped company. We created Pro Church Tools and have gotten to this place all on our own on the back of our customers of Pro Church Nation. And so we built Nucleus and spent the $1 million to build it, plus using our own money and our own profit. And of course, the question of this is, how did you do it? So the way that we do it at Pro Church Tools is we have a number of different products. We have a video announcements agency where we do video announcements for about 100 to 150 churches each weekend. And we also have a product called StoryTape, which is our unlimited stock video platform. We have another product called Nucleus. And all of these products kind of fund each other in different ways. So mostly, Pro Video Announcements and StoryTape are wildly profitable, whereas Nucleus is a money-sucking hog. The reason we do this is because it costs a ton of crazy money up front to build a software product, but in the long run, it can be the product that serves your audience best, and it can be the biggest moneymaker if you can survive the first 3 to 5 years of dev and building the product.
Right.
So that's how we are actually funding this whole project. And I am the 100% owner of Pro Church Tools also. So basically, I took $1 million of my own money, and instead of building a giant house or buying a bunch of cars, I said, or investing it in low-yield index funds, which would have been the more responsible thing to do, I said, let's build a crazy website platform that has never been done before and has no guarantees of succeeding, and we'll just take a big swing. And this is kind of the big idea, which is, I'm 26 years old, almost 27.
Almost.
And I had this unique opportunity because of the profitability of the business that I built up to this point, to reinvest that into the business and, more importantly, into the church world, where venture capitalists are not lining up to give anybody money. Because for better or for worse, the church world is what you could call an economical industry. The average church is 250 or less, the vast majority, 80+%. That means that there is not a huge ton of money and budget in a small organization like that to spend. So software in the church world isn't something that's going to be a good bet, and so venture capitalists are not lining up to do that. There is one company that has been buying up multiple brands in the church space, and I have worked very closely with a number of the employees at these brands, and they have been saying things have not been great. And not here to speak bad about another company. The public reviews are also not great. Doesn't mean that they're not going to turn around, but venture capitalism has its own problems. Namely, when you have investors, they're the ones that call the shots.
Right.
What we have is something I call the Autonomy Advantage. We are in 100% complete control, and we build things when our users want them. And that's why we reinvested all this money into building a brand new platform that had never existed for churches, that we hope and believe and truly is changing the game for so many ministries, because we think churches deserve it.
Right.
And what's amazing about our company is that 80% of Pro Church Nation, 80% of you listening or watching, are never going to give us $1 for any of our products. And I love that.
It's my favorite part about what we do.
We do this daily content, and the majority of our audience gets it for free, implements it in their church, and sees improvements, and we never get anything from it.
Yeah.
And we have this amazing ability to run our company not on the whim and the will of the people that gave us money, but on the whim of what we believe is best. And what we believe is best is what our users are telling us they need.
Yeah.
And that is a huge luxury. We don't take it lightly, but it also comes with its own unique challenges, which is we need to run multiple products so that they can all fund this giant money-sucking hog of Nucleus, in the hopes that this at bat will turn into a grand slam, or at very least, a ground rule double.
Yeah.
And that will, in turn, lead to profitability long-term and the ability to innovate long-term.
And the profitability enables us to keep creating free content, which is what we love to do. It's what I loved most about this company before I even knew you personally, and definitely before I even started working here, was as a volunteer at the time in a small local church, I needed to know what to do with a small stage design. And so I found Brady Shearer on YouTube, top 5 small stage designs. And that's just one example of, the plethora of free content that I was able to use and turn into, improvements at our church that translated into next steps. And it's just, that's what I love so much about what we do here, is we get to work with churches, for churches every day, empowering them and enabling them through free content to do great things at their church. And if one of our products that we make, fits your church and you want to pay us for it, then okay. But those products are what enable us to do what we do for churches. And it's what this is all about for me.
I think this has implications for the church world as well.
Yeah.
Because we know that church attendance is down. Barna reported that in 2000, 58% of American adults had attended a church service within the last month. 2015, that number had dropped 12% to 46%.
Yeah.
Attendance is down.
Giving is down.
This is something that we're seeing across the board as the culture around us is becoming more and more de-Christianized and de-churched. And we as churches are going to have to find other revenue options, I think, or there are a number of different things we can do. Cut our expenses, go buy vocational, spend less on buildings, because that's one of the hugest money suckers, rent, whatever it might be. One of the options is to find other revenue sources. So we're doing this at my church at Central. We're building this new building, which is also a money-sucking hog, just like Nucleus. But the goal of that huge new facility is that there are going to be multiple revenue streams that come from it. There are a ton of facilities that we can rent out to the community. Our church is named Central for that reason. We want to be, this central place where, teams come and rent the gymnasiums, and there's, seminars that happen there. And we're also creating training schools for creative arts like music and videography and design. And those can be revenue streams also that we can fund our own church and have that same autonomy advantage where we're not, needing you to give and always being like, please give because giving is down and we're firing people and letting people go. I think that there's so much that churches can learn from bootstrapped businesses like ours. You're not going to get a huge $1 million donation for most churches. You've got to find creative ways. I don't think that just because people aren't giving us money, that we then cannot create amazing things.
Right.
I think that we can get creative, and there are other options.
Yeah, so we found a way. And if that resonates with you, if you're listening or watching, if there's an idea that you've had at your church that you've thought about, maybe it's a coffee shop, or maybe it's like Brady said, renting out some facilities. If that's an idea that you've kind of thought about or put on the back burner, and you're hearing this and it's resonating with you, then go after it. And today's the day, pursue that opportunity and start putting that into practice. That's going to open up more doors for your church and enable you to serve your community better with greater resources. So do it.
We don't talk too much about business very much, but if you have any questions about this, anything that we said, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'll make sure to respond, because I always like talking shop, because business, online business in particular, is a huge passion of mine. Let us know. That'll do it for today's episode of Pro Church Daily. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey, thanks for watching today's episode of Pro Church Daily. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss another video. Turn on notifications. That way you'll always be alerted.
And if you like this video, it'd mean the world to us if you give it a thumbs up.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. What do I say?
Subscribe, hit that church bell.
How about you do that part?
I don't know that part.
Well, let's mix it up.
I've never done it.
Let's mix it up. Clearly you know it.
But I don't know it. I just don't know what
We're reversing orders. Go.
Hey there.